love my channel and would like to show your support, please click on the link below this video and become the patron of the Ushanka Show. For as little as $1, you can help us grow and create the new, interesting videos about the life in Soviet Union.
Good morning from the northern Ukraine. Today is Sunday, August 12, and unfortunately our short summer vacation in Ukrainian village is over. A short stay with grandma. Right now around 7 a.m. Looks like it's going to be another cloudless day, hot day. Temperatures here reaching upper 80s during the day, but at night it drops to low 60s. Like right now it's 14 Celsius, so it's pretty cold. Neighbor started cooking. As you see, I'm just gonna have a little tour, walk around my mom's farm. And there's me. Good morning. That's my mom's laundry department here. She hangs clothes, and so funny. My history of coming to America is right here on display. Camp Counselors USA. This is probably from 1996 or 97 or 98 t-shirts I worked. Actually, we can check. It's 10 years since they started. So my mom modified these t-shirts, cut off the arms, fixed the holes, and have a V-neck instead of a t-shirt. This is our faucet, gravity style water faucet. You pour water in there, and that's how you wash your hands. There's a soap. We used to have it like that, but it was made out of metal. This is used to be a straw and hay storage, and it works as insulation for the cellar. There's a door go into the cellar. Now it's just a storage area for random things. This used to be animal barn for pigs and a cow, but now just my mom stores their wood. Some random tomato plants. She was tossing bed tomatoes, and tomatoes started growing. And hers is my favorite flower, marigolds. That's another little storage room, but previous owners had their father-in-law lived here. It's kind of scary, but she using it to dry her onions and other goods from the garden. Because actually they brought power to only this room. And now we're stepping out in mom's garden. It's a beautiful morning today, so it's about 7 a.m. Bright sun already coming out, so we just kind of slowly walk through. A little bench, my mom sits and enjoys her garden. Little rough looking open shed. Me and Oliver went into the local woods and cut a bunch of these sticks that she's gonna use as a supports for tomato plants. Outhouse. Most households here in the village still use outhouses. Hardly anyone has an indoor plumbing. And if you have indoor plumbing, then you have no system of pumping out the waste out of the septic tank, so not many people using it. Got some green onions and tomatoes going on here, some dill. There's a couple berry bushes, pretty sad looking, but it's a white. There it goes. This is a white currant, and also mom has a blue currant. This plant is really hard to find in the United States. more marigolds. So my mom have like sections and tomatoes, and sections are separated by marigolds. It's like little fences. Here we see some strawberries, but they done for this year. So she just cut grass. And there's a huge area dedicated to tomatoes, different types. And actually my mom sells them because it's way too much for her. And it's funny, like you see, it's pretty neat garden. I mean, for a single person to take care of it, many people just, let me see if I can show you. So beyond this corn, there's a garden of the neighbors, and it's a young lady in her 30s. She has 2 kids. That's the one that cooks right now. All you see is just weed. So she barely goes out of the garden after it was planted, so everything is overtaken by weeds. And of course her tomatoes, if they're overgrown by weeds, they'll start rotting because they need to be exposed to the sun. So most people here complaining that tomatoes are not good this year, last year, year before, because they rot. Mom's tomatoes are looking good because they're all taken care of. They staked, tied up, and tomatoes are enjoying the sun so they can get ripe. So there's a different kinds of varieties. One is, I want to show you, it's kind of interesting. It's called naliv, like an apple tomato, and it's called apple because when it gets ripe it falls off by itself. So usually tomatoes stay on the vine, but this one is actually, when it gets ripe, it just falls off like an apple falls off the tree. So there's a big large area. There's going to be a lot of tomatoes. Last year my mom said she sold about, I calculated, close to 80 kilos of tomatoes from her garden. She earned 700 hryvnias, which is about $30, but that's half of her monthly income, her pension. She right now, her pension is about $50 a month, so I help her, give her some money because prices going up, but pension's not moving up much. This area is a little bit overgrown by weeds, but that's what her beans are. That's not beans. I see some watermelons, so there's a watermelons area here. More marigolds, a wall of corn. That's what the beans are. Here you go. So after, see, there's again another section, marigold sections. It's kind of cool. It's a little bit too big, I think, but in here she's trying to grow some cabbages. She read somewhere that if you put marigolds around cabbages, bugs won't bother the cabbage, but said that's a lie. Bugs are still eating up. And that's what the corn. Then she has some like melons out there, and her actually goes all the way up there, her garden, but she slowly scaled back. She says way too much work. So she's using almost only about a half of the garden that she's can use. So here we got the watermelons, and while we're at this part, I just want to mention, it's kind of funny. This village is slowly dying. There's about maybe 180 people total live in this village, and you can see everything looks pretty rough or sketchy, as my little son said. So they don't want to put the cell tower for the phone service because it's, I would say maybe in 20 years this village maybe will be no more. So, and this is kind of low area, so you don't get any cell signal, like none. So in order, if you want to talk or use internet, a lot of people go up on that hill up there, and that's, you sometimes see people sitting there for hours because they're on their phone checking email or talking to someone else. So every time I need to talk to anyone with my cell phone, I had to walk up there too, up that hill and have a conversation. They actually considering shutting down the post office here. Right now it's only open 2 days a week for 3 hours each day, Tuesday and Thursday. Used to be open every day by weekend. So yeah, quite interesting details. I filmed a video about the school. It's closed for about 10 or 15 years. In 50s they used to have 120 pupils, so you could tell the village shrunk quite a bit. As I said, tomatoes look really good. Right now it's August 12th, so they still have time to grow and get ripe. But let's go on the opposite side. So you see my mom made a little bit wide walk through here, so we're between tomato plants on each side. So I don't know how many. Oops, and this one collapsed. I gotta fix it. See, tomatoes got so heavy. Maybe some animal was wandering around, although there's hardly any wild animals, fortunately. In Michigan, my garden get decimated by deer. Here you may have a random cat walking by. And now, of course, the staple of every garden here in Ukraine, potatoes. They're getting ready. It's first sign the potatoes are ready. The plants start slowly dying out. And my mom plants beans between potato plants. The worst nightmare of any farmer here in Ukraine is a potato bug. It's called Koloradski zhuk, so it's a Colorado potato bug. And interestingly, I saw only once that bug in the United States, and that was on the beach on Lake Michigan. But here, they are everywhere. There's one right here. That's a adult species with the stripes, and when they lay eggs, their young coming out, they don't have that stripy back. There's a young guy, and that's the one that's the worst nightmare, because they grow, they're really hungry, and they destroy the leaves. And of course, if the leaves are destroyed, then potato plant doesn't grow really well. A lot of people treat it with different chemicals. My mom picks them by hand, but I remember all my life, it's one of my jobs as a kid was helping grandparents. It's just I go out in the garden with a mayonnaise jar and I collect these bugs, and for every jar I packed full, my grandpa will pay me 10 kopecks, which you could buy 10 matchboxes, with matches. So that was my job, helping grandparents. One of the ways to collect potato bugs. Yeah, they're everywhere. But yeah, potatoes are ready, but my mom will wait probably till mid-September, because they best for storing, being in the ground, and then it'll be harvesting time for potatoes. So usually when I was living in Kiev, and my parents will come in the spring to help grandparents to plant, probably like 3 times this amount. And then in the fall they'll come again on the weekend to help to harvest potatoes, and then they take quite a bit of them home. So they weren't buying potatoes at the stores. Actually, you could buy them, but they were pretty poor quality. And I remember reading somewhere that during Soviet Union, 80% of potatoes grown in Soviet Union were grown by private people. And my mom just told me, actually, peasants were supposed to, each household was supposed to, I'm not sure, just give it or just sell it. She didn't remember, but it was a requirement for each household like that in the village to give 3 potato sacks, big potato sack of 3 of those of potatoes to collective farm as well. Once a month it was 3 dozen eggs, 3 liters of milk per day. So there's a bunch of things were required. Local peasants were required to give to collective farm. I just couldn't find out it was were they compensated or not. But that was the rule. Like, we allow you to have a plot, we allow you to have 1 cow and 1 pig, and you must to give us 3 liters of milk per day, which is, cow usually produces about between 20 to 30 liters per day, so peasants still had plenty left. And of course they will let you use like you have grazing rights, you can let your cow go anywhere in the meadows, which is government owned. And my mom said way back during the Khrushchev regime, when you slaughter a pig, you had to take the skin off, skin the pig, and give the skin also to the government so they can use it to make boots for the army. Now the requirements, of course, dropped. Okay, we continue our garden review. We got some more beans here, the whole row. We already harvested some yesterday and make bean soup. Here my mom found some old 4-year-old seedling seeds of cucumber seeds, and she decided to try if they're still good. So she planted them way late, so they're just little young plants, but they came up good. So next spring she'll plant them. She'll use those seeds again, but I don't think this plant is gonna make it. We'll have about a month, maybe they'll make it. So I'm helping her in the water with Oliver, with my son, every morning with water. These little tiny plants. They have some more melons. It's a dew melons, what it's called, the one the yellow inside, but they're not ripe yet. And usually that's melons, you don't really weed them hard. Just kind of keep weed down, but not as hard as the other things. And I said, you could see right there, right now, I'm closer. This is a neighbor's garden. And the problem with people next door to you, if they don't take care of the weeds, the seeds are flying to your side. Okay, here we got a row of carrots, row of beets, row of carrots, row of beets. We already harvested some beets yesterday too. We harvested beans, and Mom made amazing bean soup. I just said it, I think. Maybe I didn't. And that's another thing. My job in the morning is, before it gets hot, I also water all these guys, because they look pretty sad in the hot sun. Like you can see, the beets leaves are kind of getting soggy and sad. We got more melons over there, more tomatoes. Alright, we just walk this way so we'll be not filming against the sun. My mom loves flowers, so she got flowers, different kinds everywhere. We got some sweet peppers. It's also my job and Oliver's to water them in the morning. And this is the main cucumber plant here, spread all over. And you could see a lot of those yellow cucumbers. I already made the video, told you the story how I ended up eating a bunch of those when I made a mistake and harvested them. I brought from America this interesting device, so let my mom try it. You see this bottle right here? This, when you usually water plant, you pour the water around the base, and not much goes inside of the ground, it just kind of spreads around. Especially if you see, my mom has a little hills by the each tomato plant. Well, this thing has a little tiny hole. You can make as many holes as you want. You hook it up to the regular pop bottle, make a little hole here. You fill the bottle with water, then you insert it in the base by the plant, and that way it's waters mostly to the sends water to the roots. So we tried that. I think we made a hole a little bit too big. Bottle goes empty in about 15 minutes, but maybe it's pretty decent. And as I said, see, hardly any water splashes around. Most of them it goes in the ground and waters tomato real well. So I brought a bunch of those tips for my mom so she can use them. So this is the review of my mom's garden. I said, really neat and tidy. And of course she's 70 years old, so she's just like her way of staying busy, staying fit. She'll come here, in the morning before it's getting hot, works on it, takes a break, then just comes back for half an hour during the day, does things here and there, takes the breaks. It's nice when you're retired, you don't have anything else going on. But as I said, the retirement is really pathetic. My mom's pension is about $50 a month. So fortunately, here in the village, prices are about 50% less for grocery than in the big city. Like she buys milk for 6 hryvnias a liter. In nearby town it's 10 hryvnias per liter. In Kiev it's probably close to 15 or 20. So she doesn't have a cow or chickens, so she buys eggs for 2 hryvnias 50 kopecks an egg. And I said she buys milk. She rides the bike to the river to do some little fishing, and then goes to the woods to pick berries and mushrooms in season. So she relaxes here, although it's less convenient than in a big city. But as I said, it's way nicer here in the summer because even if it gets really hot during the day, it cools off quite a bit during the night, so her house stays cool and comfortable. We really like it here. We didn't like it with my son and Kiev because our apartment was so stuffy and hot, because it's, you know, hot during the day and then super hot. Hey! Okay, well, we're finishing our story. Goodbye.